Hello again, YouTube. Here we are. We're still at Ruskagen, or Ruskagen, whichever way it's pronounced. I've still not googled the pronunciation of it. As you can see, bottom left corner, we are now the Lion. We're in a McLaren cap in honour of Lando Norris's maiden victory on Sunday in Miami, which was a great race. And thankfully, you don't have to listen to me all day because we are joined once again by Woody, iRacing legend and household name. So thanks for joining us again, Woody.
Hello mate, how are we doing?
Yes, we're good. How are you doing?
Yeah, not so bad. I've had a bit of a break from my racing this week, but it's good to be back with you. And a track that I do not know whatsoever, so I have no idea what to expect. I've never driven here. I'm not even sure I've ever seen a lap here. So
nice.
As we go around the formation lap, what is this track? What are the characteristics of it?
It's quite tricky, I find. This first corner, I know we're going slow because it's the outlap, is typically fifth gear all the way to this point, then hard braking. Some guy who put a fast time in, but I typically do it in fourth because I feel like I lose the car under fifth braking hard. Normally drop down to
like
second.
Turn 1 and 2 at Suzuka kind of situation.
It is. It's not being this track is very fun to drive but not fun to race. That's the way I can describe it. But through this section is third, you're braking into second at this point down to first, normally get tight to the apex on this corner, and then you can open up steering, and when I see the Continental sign I tend to open up and get the foot down. But yeah, this track, like I say, it's really fun to drive. It's a fun track, it's a beautiful location as well. But to race it is a completely different story, especially in a production car challenge when you've got 4 different classes of car. And I think, as we'll see in this video, that some of the Mazdas think they're racing against the Toyotas, when actually in fact you're racing against the other Mazdas, and it doesn't matter where you finish in regards to the other classes, just focus on your class.
No, exactly.
But
I've done 1 and 2 of these. I did a couple of these in the Renault Clio.
Oh yeah,
a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, it's all quite evenly matched and all a bit mental. So I'm guessing this is the last corner. So take it away.
Yeah. So we're here now. We've been told cars coming in, and it's green, and we're off. This is a nice little run straight up to turn 1. Turn 1 has created a lot of carnage. Hopefully on the left you can see all the timings as well. Thought we'd add that this time, but yeah, I get tapped instantly. I did have you've got a guy going wide, and this is a really tricky spot here because I accidentally nick him because everyone's going left and right, and then I get bumped again, and I think I ended up on about 8x after turn 1, which was just absolute bonkers.
That was really unlucky though, because obviously you're just avoiding the car on the inside. You give him the slightest tap, there's not really much you can do.
No.
Not many Mazdas in this race though, it looks like, only a handful.
There is only a handful, but a handful's enough to cause enough damage, as we'll probably see later on. But yeah, there wasn't that many. Typically the race I've done, there's been quite a few quite a few Toyotas. I think I did a race the other day when it was just purely Toyotas. I didn't see a single Mazda on track.
Some of the Mazdas have got, obviously, there's
a couple of spins there, and then he almost goes back, he throws me off, and yeah, I get a slowdown penalty because I cut a massive part of the course, which I find a bit harsh, because if I don't...
You went wide, you lost time.
Yeah, I already lost time, and then I get a slowdown, but because of him going off, if I continue, I end up in a pile-up as well. So the I would say that the slowdown penalties on here I found quite harsh. Very, very tight, and because it's obviously quite a long track, and I didn't find much slipstream behind cars.
That one there? Did you get one there?
I don't think I did on that turn, because I was managing to keep with this car and try and fight back. I'll go a bit wide on this last turn, which was a bit... Yeah, this last turn reminds me of Sebring's last corner. It's just a couple of lines you can take that'll do well, but I just still can't find a consistently good line through it.
I was going to ask you what the line actually was from your point of view, but if you don't know, then you don't know.
I think the best line I did take on my fastest lap, I went sort of middle. Oh, this guy spins, and then I think he's going to go across me there, and then he pulls it back right, and then absolutely screws me. So that put me up to about 10x there. I think I ended on the rest of like 13x or something. It was madness.
That just looked like the grip came back to him, and he couldn't quite.
Yeah.
do anything with that. It's either that or he spins off on the other side. I think it's a bit of a racing incident, but you're unscathed. You've got a bit of a gap in front of you then because of all the nonsense that's gone on. You've got a few seconds to catch up. So what are you thinking at this point? Are you just head down and trying to get a couple of seconds back maybe at a time?
A little bit, yeah. I'm just trying to make sure it's clean. Try not to lose too much pace because I know I've got a couple of people behind me, so I'm trying to defend a little bit as well. Make sure they don't gain time on me. But yeah, ultimately it's about trying to keep it as clean as possible again, which is a big thing to iRacing. But again, I get this corner a little bit better. I think if you go a bit wider, then cut back, it seems to work nice. And then, yeah, this corner, for the first few times I was doing it, I was going around in second, but I think getting up to third for a minute and then dropping back down to second seems to keep the pace up.
Yeah, it's all about momentum in these sort of tracks, and into this last corner again, it's so tight.
So I felt that was nice.
I mean, to be fair, this is quite good because I think in this car, I don't see much advantage on either line really, but I think that was quite well done. So you've got so 7 and a bit seconds in front of you. So is it a case of just trying to finish the race at the moment and just trying to make sure that you get to the end without incident?
That was the plan, yeah. But at this point, it's I've had a few bumps and we've got quite high X after the first couple of turns in lap 1 just because of people going off and causing a few incidents. So yeah, it was mainly trying to keep it steady. That corner though, very tricky because if you go a little bit wide, it completely throws you off, and I do lose a lot of pace in that corner. I think that was a slowdown penalty here. I think all 4 wheels. Oh, no, it might not have been. I think I managed to avoid it.
What is hard to see on the camera, which you can definitely get a sense of on these wider shots, is the elevation change around here. I mean, it is severe, and especially that
it is.
that double right-hander double left-hander that you were just going through. You could tell that it really dropped down. Is it difficult to control the car through there?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, that's why it's balancing the pace. If you go when you're going on that double left-hander, if you carry a bit too much pace in, it can push you out a bit too wide. But yeah, it's a great track though. It's fun to do. I'd recommend anyone have a go on it. But if you're brave enough to race it, then fair play. But
is it a free track on the service? Is it?
Yes. I don't think I paid for this one. I think that's why I did it as well, because I thought it's a free track, it's fun to play. I did buy Long Beach with the intentions of doing some Long Beach, but yeah, a little bit wider there than I wanted to be. But yeah, because this was free, and Long Beach is a horrible. I did a few laps of it, and it's felt like there'd be a lot of incidents. I still might do a race on it at one point in the near future, but yeah, I felt this track just appealed a bit more to me.
We'll have to practice around there and have a look back at Long Beach, because it is a good one. It's not bad. It's just obviously it can be a bit intimidating if you get used to it before you get used to it.
No, definitely, yeah.
As this one kind of is as well. But I think this track, from what I can see, seems to suit this car really well. As in, it's quite twisty, but it's not really a high-speed circuit. So the Toyota is quite a home around here, I think.
It is, yeah. I think the fastest time I saw was about a 1:34, and I was averaging sort of 1:36.5, 1:37. So yeah, I was always a few seconds off the fastest.
You're getting some time here. There's a spin in front, is there?
Yeah, I think there was he went off just ahead, so we try and get a bit of a run onto him. But the one, like I said earlier, the one thing I didn't find was much sort of slipstreaming. I had a few races where I was behind the cars, but it just never felt there was enough power to really catch up to them compared to like Daytona, when obviously you got the back left, where it's just all pace and you can gain so well.
Well, it could be to do with where the wind's blowing as well, because if you've got a tailwind down the long straights, then the slipstream is kind of negated quite a lot, because obviously the car in front isn't pushing through as much wind. The wind is actually pushing the car from behind. So the slipstream effect isn't really in much effect. But yeah, this corner here then A lot of runoff area, at least in a lot of these places. So it's
yes, that's
it's
good.
quite forgiving in that respect, and maybe that is why it's I know I was questioning a couple of weeks ago why these sort of seemingly harder tracks were on the rookie and the Class D schedules, but actually this is a good track for rookies because of all the runoff. You're gonna be able to make mistakes and survive.
Yeah, and if you get hit or if you get spun or there's any contact, like you're not going to be thrown straight into a wall. Like we're just saying about Long Beach. Yeah, it's very.
Long Beach, you end up being thrown into a wall by yourself, even if you don't mean it. So that or a fountain or something of that ilk. But it looks like you're catching the pack a little bit here, mate. You've got these two guys who look like they've made a mistake or two in front. Is that a lapped Mazda?
I don't think. What was it? No, I don't think. Oh no! Yes,
the Mazdas have overtaken you, have they?
No, I apologize. Yeah, it was a lap Mazda because the leader was behind me, as we'll see soon enough. But yeah, I did think some of the Mazda. I was kind of hoping this Mazda might hold this guy up ahead of me a little bit more, so I could maybe have a bit of a closer fight and try and gain on him. But yeah, that corner there we've just been through, that was one I actually got a bit of advice from a practice session. One guy asked another fella and said, what are you doing in that corner? And he says, I'm typically doing it in second and then accelerating full when you can fully put the acceleration on, which is probably just a little bit halfway around the corner if you've got a good line into it. So I was able to gain a bit of pace. Again, just going a bit wide on that corner there, it can ruin this section a little bit if you are wide, because if you get, especially with this corner here, if you've not had a clean sort of run through the last few corners, it really comes upon you fast, and because it's such a sharp sort of almost 90-degree angle to turn into it, yeah, you can lose a bit of time there. But yeah, it was fun. I did feel like I was always just within touching distance of the line ahead of me, Eshelman.
I can see from, when we touched base last week, it was the week before, wasn't it? It was
I think so, yeah.
At Sebring. What was it, Sebring?
Oh, we had Sebring, then we had Daytona. Daytona was last week, yeah.
Oh, Daytona, yeah, that's right. I've noticed that your consistency's definitely improved and your general pace, I think, has improved. I think you aren't putting too much steering lock on, which is something we did talk about. It appears like, anyway, from this chase cam, that the actual motion in the car is pretty good.
No,
I wonder if we could get a little on board. Could we? Do you mind if we have a little on board? A little on board lap or two, maybe.
I will try it. When this video's out, there will be the inside. But if I do,
right, okay. No, it's fine.
It's because we will have the inboard for the viewers, but because it's PNG tube, I think if I click on it, it'll turn the PNG tube off. So,
okay.
Excuse my technological lack of knowledge. But at one point we'll get there. But I think because it's recording the screen, if I click on it, it'll override it, which is really annoying.
You can definitely tell though that you're improving. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, definitely. And I think this track, when you're just saying about opening up the steering and getting on like the acceleration a bit quicker, I think this track opens it up to that. So I think this is actually, like you said earlier, it's a good track for rookies. I think that's one thing this track enabled me to do, is like really be able to focus on opening up the steering a bit earlier, making sure you're getting, with the castle rotating, open it up, make sure you can get on the power a bit quicker. This track really opened up that for me and enabled me to really feel the difference. Like when we were at Daytona, there was some sharp little midsection. Yeah. I thought he was in the pits. I wondered what was going on because, when I came up behind him, I thought, is he just going to try and come straight across? But yeah, this Eshelman ahead, he's just got a bit more pace. I think he was lapping about half a second faster than me, so he starts to pull away a little bit now. But it still opens up. I mean, we've still got a load of Mazdas behind us, which is quite interesting. And then, I was able to hold this East Celestine behind for quite a little bit. But that's the thing, it's trying to balance up defending and making sure you're not going to put yourself in too much of a risk for an overtake, but also trying to keep the pressure on. Because I was thinking if I keep the pressure on the guy ahead, make an error, then people behind me catch me, and then that's kind of race done. But no, I was comfortable at this point in the race. I was in 12th. I was looking for a top 10 finish at this point. I'm thinking just keep it clean. There could be incidents further on that'll open up a few more spots, and yeah, the aim at this point is top 10 finish.
You do seem like you're similar to Daytona, doing quite well in the fast corners.
Yeah, I like the fast corners.
Might be your kind of speciality. Like I think I'm good. Well, I know I'm good at fast corners. I'm not particularly great in slow ones.
Yeah.
It's just something I need to work on, but certainly in the fast corners I tend to make up most of my time, and I always have done back to the old PlayStation days. So it's no, it's good to see that kind of. You look very confident in the faster bends.
Oh, definitely, and I think that's partly down to confidence in the car. Like I've done 3 weeks of this car on very different tracks across the last few weeks, and I feel that confidence in the car is key, and I think that's probably where Sebring could have been better, is that I just didn't know how the car would fully work. I know I had a few laps at what was the week before? I can't remember what it was. I quite enjoyed it. Was it Lime Rock? Might have been Lime Rock. In the production challenge, because I did a few laps around there. I know you joined on, I think once or twice. Clayton joined on. Well, another shout out to Formula Llama team member Clayton and original founder. There's 2 original founders of Llama Squad here. There was Clayton, obviously, Ace and Blake. And we'd started as Llama Squad because of Fortnite in 2018, and then it evolved into Formula Llama because of the racing element. Which is fun.
I will petition the Ace Meister to join us on iRacing. I know he won't do it, but he might. You never know. But,
peer pressure on YouTube.
Peer pressure always works, especially when it's in the public eye. So you know what to do.
And to anyone, if anyone watching this video as well, if you just leave a comment, tell Ace to get on iRacing. More pressure, the better, because from what I know, he was a top quality racer. And it's a shame that we've got a talent that isn't actually A, part of Formula Llama team, but more importantly, B, part of the iRacing community.
Yeah, he's exactly the kind of driver as well, because he's quite thoughtful in his approach, and I always think that works very well on iRacing.
Definitely.
In fact, it works a lot better than, say, my approach, where thinking's optional.
Yeah, I sometimes think thinking is overrated.
Thinking's overrated. Drinking absolutely isn't. Yeah. I have a can of an orange Scottish beverage here, which.
Brilliant.
Very, very good indeed.
And if it's orange, still having the colours of McLaren.
I am pointing it towards the lion as we speak, so there you go. Yeah, I know it's not an F1 video, but great job by Lando, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, and I know we've said I think we've said a few times that F1 can be a bit boring with Max winning all the time, but he got the safety car at the right time, but he managed to put 7.5 seconds between him and Max, which is pretty damned impressive.
And before anybody says anything, not Max's fault.
No,
Max is brilliant. Max is a brilliant driver, and not his fault at all. But it has.
He is a Roger Federer of.
Even
F1.
myself, I've probably watched 98% of F1 races since 1994, right? Mm-hmm. And even myself, I've been a little bit indifferent this year to it. But this was a great race, top to bottom. Mm-hmm. The whole field, the battles for 16th, 17th were amazing. The battles for the top 5 were great. We had. You could argue that Lando might have won anyway.
No, yeah.
Even without the safety car. Because he had that great pace at the end of the race, but apparently Max did have some damage when he hit the bollard, so
understandable.
Which, that would have definitely hindered him. I don't know if it would have hindered him by the tune of 8 or 9 seconds or whatever Lando won by the end, but
yeah, I do wonder how much pace.
It bodes well for the rest of the season, doesn't it?
It does, and I also wonder how much pace Piastri would have had, because he was having a good race until Sainz kind of said, "I want this spot," and I know they got into a few tangles.
It was a bit 50-50, wasn't it? I think Oscar pushed him off the track.
Yeah, he did. I mean, Sainz got a penalty afterwards, didn't he?
Sainz pushed Oscar off the track, didn't he?
Yeah,
Oscar overtook him off the track. Sorry, that was what.
And Sainz did hit his wing and cause the damage, which caused the pit stop, which put Piastri back. But I think Piastri could it have been a 1 and 4 or 1 and 3 maybe?
I think it could have been a double podium for McLaren. I can see on the map a suspicious Mazda quite close.
You can probably hear one as well, and you might.
You know what? I've realised I haven't had the sound on the entire race.
Brilliant.
So thanks for that little insight. You can tell I'm rusty, can't you?
But if you watch him, sometimes he's blinking, and I found in these races, being in a number of blinkers, a lot of people jumping up in some of the clips you might see from the driver's perspective, the cockpit perspective. I started the race the other day, and someone ended up 20 feet in the air at turn 1. This blinking really puts you off, especially when you're fighting people. But yeah, this guy coming up behind is the leader of the Mazdas, so he's having a good race because he's got pace on Toyotas. He's leading the race comfortably.
Way in front as well, it looks like.
But sadly, the pace and the brain weren't on the same wavelength.
Let's have a look and see what
again,
he's blinked again, which hasn't helped.
Nope. And it's quite off-putting when you see a blinker.
He's going for the.
So he's going tight.
You've given him the space.
But then he just... I watched from his perspective, and he loses it because he's touched the grass and he goes left. And then he hits me. I mean, yeah, and then because of that, it throws me off a bit. And then this is where I get slowdown penalty because we've gone off. And yeah, this brings Celestine in for some fights. But there are a few more Mazdas behind that come into view in a little bit. But yeah, that leader, I don't know why he took it so tight. He nicks the grass, he loses control a little bit, but he ruined his race. And I'm just like, he didn't need to do that. I don't think. I don't know what your views were on that incident, but
a little bit more patient. I think you maybe could have given a tiny bit more room.
Fair.
But at the same time, you don't exactly know where he is. You're only going to be relying on your mirrors and the crew chief for information. So you don't know what angle he's coming out of the corner at. So for me, he's the leader, and he's got a big lead.
Massive,
he had a big lead, right? So to me, taking an extra few seconds to get past you wouldn't have been because you would have let him through, right? Because he's 100%. The leader, you would have let him through. So
and I'm not fighting him. I think that was one of your big bits of information, probably Clayton's as well, was forget any other car that isn't a Toyota and let them through. And that's what you do.
And for me,
again, that was another slowdown here, which was really annoying.
You got slowdown for going wide there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's what I mean when I said these slowdowns are a bit harsh.
The ones for going wide are a bit silly, I think, because this track is about it's a rhythm track, and it's about setting yourself up for the following corner. And if you go wide on any of these long corners, you're not gaining anything because you're out of position for the next corner. Yeah, and
it was fractionally off, and that's why I found that there's a lot of harsh off tracks and slowdowns here.
Is this the last lap, or is it the next one?
No, we've got a few more. I think it goes up to about lap 16 because the leaders were lapping quite quickly. So we're on 13 at the minute.
It's just your time's run out at the top. Is that just? I guess it's because it's a replay.
Yeah, it'll be the replay.
Accurate.
But no,
so
there were a few more laps.
You're trying to get as tight as possible, which I do agree with, coming out of the last corner, and you do get a bit of a decent slipstream now. I can see pulling
there was a little bit here. Front. Yeah.
Now, let's see, this turn 1, it reminds me of that Oschersleben 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think you did Oschersleben a few weeks ago, didn't you?
I did, yes. That was quite an interesting.
Similar corner, right?
Yeah. But then I just go a little bit wide there. Probably just, I mean, you can see how dark.
You maybe could have opened the line a little bit more actually there. With the steering. So you were thinking you were going wide, but maybe if you'd have opened it, you could have kept a bit more momentum. But you've still got a nice run up the inside on the curb.
So,
maybe a tad conservative, but that might be because of what happened last lap.
Yeah, so I was just trying to, get
Mazda
a good angle.
In here, the second place Mazda, he's going to dive, is he? No, he's not. He's not that stupid. Oh, in fact, he's the leader now, isn't he?
He's the leader.
That's he's not as stupid as it seems. The guy before.
But with all the pressure that I did feel, that put me a little bit wide because they do get right on your backside, and it is quite a bit off-putting sometimes. But yeah, these Mazdas, they need to realise they're not racing us, and then we get the leader who was the leader, and then them two, and
they are racing each other.
But then he did it again, so that's the second time he sort of dived up the inside when he didn't need to, and he ruined both the races. Again.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that one again. I think the
hey, we can do it. We can do an incident.
They were having a close fight.
They were, yeah.
That's what I think you've got to bear in mind is that they're not being aggressive, kind of, because they're necessarily being aggressive towards you on the track. It's because they're trying to gain that 10th or 2, which is going to make them safe from the car behind. Because especially in that situation. With that guy so close behind. I mean, you saw that guy made a legitimate move on you, a decent move.
Yeah.
Oh my word!
And yet another Mazda going off.
And then the guy behind, he pounced on that little.
He did, yeah.
It wasn't even a mistake because he was just overtaking.
No. Yeah.
And that's multi-class for you. Multi-class is, it's tough to negotiate at times. And I mean, I've done the 24 hours at Le Mans before.
Yeah.
On iRacing, and you've always got to be aware of what's going on and who's around you. So, and hopefully we'll be doing some of that again this year. But yeah, it's some of these big endurance rounds, hopefully.
No, yeah, I mean, endurance sounds fun. I mean, it's not something something I've got an interest in, but I don't know how it would go because these races are 25 minutes long, and I found them to be quite draining. So I can imagine.
I will say it is the month of May. So if you are looking to challenge yourself in some shape or form, there's the iRacing Indy 500 coming up in the next few weeks, which is definitely something that I think I'll be doing. It depending on. It's a difficult one for me because there is only one. I think there's only one day that I can actually do it because I'm going on holiday. But I think literally the first day or the first split might be the only time I can actually race that one. So
that's fair.
It may not come about, but the Indy 500 is great. That's quite a long race as well, though. That's where you need a little bit of the endurance in your body and in your mind for that one. But
for sure.
And as I've told you, after half an hour, my brain goes to cheese when I'm driving. So
yeah, that's why I think these are.
I don't know how I've ever finished any endurance races, let alone won a couple. So.
No, but I feel that's why I think these half-an-hour races at the minute are a good time. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken,
it's slowly extending though your kind of what you expect from these races. You've gone from doing 15 minutes
to like half an hour.
Half an hour, and I think that's quite a decent sort of progression to getting your mind attuned to what it takes to finish one of these races. And yeah, I think if you hadn't have had those incidents at the start, I think you'd be a lot closer to that top 10. I know it sounds easy. It's if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike. That kind of sentence, but it's the it's kind of shown how the race has kind of not unravelled, because it's not been a terrible race from me. It's been quite a good race from you, but how I think if you were with that other pack or just behind that other pack, then obviously the Mazdas wouldn't have come into play, and then
exactly, that's it.
It would have been a much easier second half, I think, for you.
Yeah, because before the Mazdas came in, it was a steady race. I mean, we're still about 12th here, which wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah, what were you, ranked 13th out
of
21?
13th out of 21, so...
You probably... 11th it looks like, you just gained a place randomly.
I think it might have been the leaders... I think it was the leaders kicking out, because last lap I think it was everyone just dropping out. But yeah, I think we ended 12th, 13th there. It wasn't a bad race. But yeah, there we go. That was the Mazda madness of Raduskin. And then he comes in at the end with the lovely "How's your father?"
And that's definitely...
that was the leader.
He obviously wasn't happy with you, was he, from before? But
yes, there we go. That was the end of that absolute barnstonking madness. It was quite interesting. It was a good race. But yeah, definitely learnt a lot. Definitely found this is a good track to race on. Good track to drive. Difficult to race. But yeah, that was great. Appreciate anyone watching, and remember, like and subscribe for more of this content. And as always, it's been great to have you on board as well.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. It's been a lot of fun. It's been good to see this track for the first time, and look forward to the next one.
Yes, nice one. Right, we'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Alright, so anyway, here's one of the incidents that we discussed earlier in the race. This was lap 12 before the Mazda decided to take me out. But yeah, I know you said you'd want to see it from his perspective, Woody. So here we are.
Yeah, so
tight race.
This will give me the insight that I need, I think, and see what happened. Because this whole video series that we're doing as well is it's about trying to blinking again. That was useful. It's about trying to be honest as well and say that.
So he's out of control there for me. Like it hits the grass and
then. He is. He is a little out of control. It does look like you kind of came across a bit though.
It did. I can accept that. Yeah.
I think it's a racing incident because I think you've both kind of lost control a little bit there. Well, he's lost control, and then I think you've underestimated the kind of the space he needed.
But yeah, I mean, just by watching this replay, you can see how blinky he is as well.
I think he could have maybe. I think with his lead that he had, I think he could have been a little bit more patient.
Well, yeah, I'll leave this playing for this lap. I mean, it might be a bit annoying with the blinking, but these two have a collision as well as we saw, so it'd be interesting to see it from.
Oh, what, with the orange?
Yeah, and I think that was the lap after. So, let's say this is the incident segment, so we leave it on. But again, he's blinked so hard, he's completely gone. It's
Which doesn't help either, because also that means that when you're. I mean, yeah, it wasn't really a factor in that other collision, but sometimes you're not always sure where anybody is if they're blinking a lot, if they've got bad connection.
Yeah.
So let's see then. He's into turn 1.
I mean, these cars are a handful to drive.
Throws it in. He's using a lot of lock.
Yeah.
There to try and fling that Mazda around the corners. But, yeah, let's see what goes off in front, because this is the.
I think in a few corners it's where he decides to throw it up the inside and he takes.
The orange guy's behind one of the other Toyotas. Yeah.
Then there's my slowdown. So.
Slow down, yeah. Oh, and this is what brings this guy back into play.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was the same fella at first, you know.
Ah, fair. But yeah, this is coming up to where I think in the next turn he, again, blinking, he bombs it down the inside.
Well, let's see. So so he gets the run, which is fair.
Oh, it must be the next lap then. But so he's keeping it tight, he's keeping it on. But yeah, we've got a nice little 4-car battle going on here.
The problem is as well though is that you're battling with the guy in front of you, so
yeah,
you're not.
So I can't give up.
Right, but both these two, both the two Toyotas and the two Mazdas are doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're in a close battle with the other car in their class, right?
Yeah.
And so nobody wants to give an inch to anybody else.
No,
and
because
that's where the multi-class racing is interesting, because you've got to pick your moments. You really do have to pick your moments to
really
try
go
and make
for
these moves. But at the same time, you can't legislate for someone throwing it up the inside. Now, this is where I think that that other guy was blinking as well, which.
Because yeah,
really
like you were saying, if I let the Mazda go, which he had a bit more pace than me, that means I have to give up on the other guy. But
you've got the run on the inside. That's absolutely fine. Matey's around the outside. Our guy completely loses it on the way in the same corner, I might add again.
But at least the orange car was watching where I was. This is the big thing
orange
rookies
car's
don't do.
Orange car's paying attention.
They don't look ahead.
And he's getting the. Let's see if he gets the run.
I think he'll get a good toe down here.
I think it's here he gets the run, isn't it?
He does, yeah.
So he has to make this move for me.
Yeah.
He has to make this move. Goes down the inside. I don't know. Can we have a chase cam on that, please?
Yeah. Let's go back. Far chase. Do you want it to slow down?
No. Just normal speed will do.
He's hit the grass.
I ain't being funny. He's on the grass there.
And then he spins out.
I don't think he's really got a. Can I just see again?
Yeah.
Can you just see just one more time?
Yep. And it doesn't help that it blinks, and then we lose half of it. So he's hit the grass there, spun out. He's hit me.
I think you might have pinched slightly down.
Yeah, I can accept that.
Ever so slightly down. I think if you give another foot or so, I don't think the crash happens. However, he's on the grass and he's lost control as well.
And then he slides
which
into him.
Which he's done 3 times in this one replay that I've been watching. So I think if I'm to be polite, I think you're not the only one who needs to work on your driving.
No, that's fair. Like I say, it's a learning curve, and this is where we are.
I do think it's a little bit pot and kettle from him to be
calling me out when he's
talking about people's lack of skills when it doesn't seem like
he's got many.
He can really control his own car.
Yeah, but there we go. There's one of the big incidents of the races. Yeah. What are your thoughts and opinions? Leave any comments, reviews in the chat below. Always good to get some new opinions. But thanks for watching again.